I run one of the biggest Linux communities on the internet, and someone from that community created a challenge for me with 17 facts that he thinks I don't know about Linux. So in this video, I'm going to go into it blind, and I want to take you with me to see if you knew these facts too. So let's jump in. Challenge accepted. Okay, so this is the first slide here. And again, I have not seen any of these before, these slides or anything. I'm just going into this completely fresh, and let's see what happens. So here's the first slide. In the year 2000, 15 years before the Apple Watch, IBM built a fully functional Linux wristwatch. Okay, well, I didn't know this. It ran kernel 2.2, had a complete graphical interface, a touch screen in 2000, that's interesting, wireless connectivity, and ran on a 19 megahertz ARM processor with 8 megabytes of RAM. No, I did not know this at all. This... Well done. The first fact, already I have lost the challenge. Did you know this? Like, this is really interesting because, first of all, like, I don't know the full history of ARM, but I didn't know that they had ARM in the year 2000 already. And also, I'm really surprised that they did this, because how are you going to be interacting with this watch? Like, I don't see, like, it had a touch screen, but are you then typing on the watch? Okay, so this was a good fact. Let's see what the next one is. Linus's family's birthdays are secretly embedded in every Linux system. Okay, I didn't know that. The kernel's reboot system call requires magic numbers as security parameters. Feel dead. The others, when decoded for hexadecimal, spell out Linus's birthday, his daughter's birthday, and his wow. Okay. Every time any of the millions of Linux devices reboots, your phone or server or the International Space Station, it silently validates Torvalds' family birthdays as a security check. Very cool. I did not know this fact. At LinuxCon 2013, when asked on a stage whether any government had ever requested a Linux backdoor, Torvalds verbally said no, while visibly nodding his head yes. Okay. The audience burst out laughing, and he called it obviously a joke. Okay, so he was saying no, but nodding yes. So obviously the governments did request it. 2 months later, his father, a member of the European Parliament, publicly testified that yes, the NSA had indeed approached Linus about installing backdoors in Linux. Wow. Okay, so I didn't know this, but again, this immediately makes me very, very uneasy, knowing that he had been approached. Like, I'm not surprised about that, but do we really know if there is a backdoor or not? I mean, this is the great thing about Linux, that the source code is open, so like, we should be able to verify this ourselves, but who knows? Like, the Linux kernel source code is open source. But what if you use Ubuntu or Fedora? Like, there may still be a backdoor in it if the full source code isn't fully open source and you're not auditing it yourself. So, no, I didn't know this fact, and at the same time, I feel very uneasy now. The SL command, okay, so I did, this one I know. The SL command exists solely as punishment for Linux most common typo. Type SL instead of LS and a fully yeah, okay. So let's try this out. I'll go away from this one. So let's open the terminal here. And if I'm running one of the immutable OS versions of Fedora, so I actually cannot install something directly on my system. I have to actually enter a container. So if I do toolbox, enter tools, I am now in a container that is running inside of Podman, and in here I can install anything that I want. So if I do sudo dnf install sl, this is then going to install this. Yes. And if you type sl here, then a train comes, and I cannot Control-C this. I cannot interrupt this process at all. And as it says in the slide here, that it is one of the most common spelling mistakes on Linux. So if you're constantly typing ls, 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 and then sometimes you do SL, then you're immediately punished because you have to wait for the train to go away. So next there is the A flag. This adds a tiny accident scene with screaming passengers. Okay, the F. This I didn't know, so I think I get a 50% score on this one. So let's do that. SLA. This is should help. Okay, it shows a few people screaming for help, and the F flag makes the train fly. Yeah. So here it goes. You see it flying here. Yeah, so those I didn't know, actually. So I think I get a 50% score on this one. Linus named Git after himself. And Git means stupid, unpleasant person in British slang. Torvalds mentioned, I'm an egotistical bastard and I name all my projects after myself. First Linux, now Git. So Linux is now named after Linus. Git is named after Linus. And Linus called himself a Git. All three are used by 3 billion people daily. I'm actually not sure if this fact is correct here. Because, first of all, Linus didn't come up with the name Linux. It was kind of assigned to Linux by other people. And he was actually quite uncomfortable about Linux being called Linux because it contained his own name. So I'm not completely sure about the accuracy of this fact. Likewise for Git, it is actually not completely known how this, as far as I know, how this name originated. But yes, Git does mean a unpleasant person in British slang. But this one may be a little bit more nuanced than the creator has presented here. But in any case, maybe you didn't know. Suicide Linux is a real package that replaces the command not found handler. Mistype any command and it automatically runs sudo rf/, which deletes your entire root file system. It turns the terminal into a high-stakes typing test where one typo ends everything. No, I did not know about this, and I would certainly not install this on my own system because I make typos all the time. Very cool. Back in 2010, a developer named Leonard Poedering introduced systemd as a replacement for Linux Boot Manager. This I knew. The problem was it didn't stop there. It kept expanding until it controlled logging, DNS type. Yes, okay. So we're getting into the systemd debate here. When Debian made it the default, the backlash turned into death threats, and the community started collecting Bitcoin to hire a hitman. And an entire fork of Debian called Devuan was created solely so people could run Linux without touching systemd. Yeah, so this I knew. So this is all about the systemd controversy. The classic, let's call it classic Linux, had System 5 in it, which had several run levels. This was the main way of initializing processes on Linux, which then eventually got replaced by systemd. And there is still a website on the internet that is dedicated to the cause of bringing back the System 5 init. And yeah, there's as you see, it led to death threats and so many things happening in the Linux community, which is very surprising that it can be so toxic. So yes, I did know about this, but the world has moved on. Like any main Linux distribution that is being run in production uses systemd. So if you're one of these people that thinks this is a problem, then yeah, well, it's good for you, but the world has moved on. And if you actually want to have a job as a Linux engineer, then you have to know systemd, and that's the simple fact. Speaking of landing jobs with Linux, if you go to school.com and search for Linux, you will see that my free Linux course is the #1 Linux community of 1,000 communities on this platform. So I created this a couple of months ago. It's a free 8-hour course where you're going to learn how to use Linux from the command line, completely tailored towards landing 6-figure jobs, okay? So This is actually content from my paid KubeCraft Career Accelerator that I use to land six-figure DevOps jobs for people. I took some of that out and I released this as the free Linux course because I think the world will be a better place if more people get skilled in Linux. So if you want a free 8-hour Linux course, check the link down below in the description. It's completely for free and it's the same paid content that my paid students get. So go to the link in the description right now and get your free 8-hour Linux course. Moving to the next fact, in 1993, Linus Torvalds visited the National Zoo and Aquarium where a small penguin nibbled his finger. Torvalds joked he contracted penguinitis, a disease that makes you stay awake at night just thinking about penguins and feel... okay. In 2009, the Canberra Zoo erected a sign at the penguin enclosure reading, "It's our belief that the original tux is still housed in this enclosure." Yeah, I did not know that. I did not know that I actually wondered why the mascot of Linux was a penguin, but now we know. Every single one of the 500 most powerful supercomputers on Earth has run Linux continuously since November 2017. Not 99, 100%. Linux went from a single top 500 entry in 1998 to complete uncontested domination in under 20 years. This I knew. I knew that Linux is the de facto operating system for these kinds of systems in the world. The New York Stock Exchange runs on Red Hat Linux across 600 plus servers, processing 250,000 orders per second. Yes, I did know this. Most of the world's stock exchanges, if not all of them, run on Linux, actually. The first website ever published ran on a Unix-based computer. Did I know this? I mean, I would have assumed so. Like, I would have assumed that the first servers that hosting the public internet were on Unix because Windows servers weren't really a thing. So I think we can check this one as knew this, but still, let's see. The machine and next workstation at CERN still exists today, bearing Tim Berners' original handwritten label, "This machine is a server, do not power it down." That's actually really funny. Okay, next one. North Korea built its own Linux distribution called Red Star OS. Yes, I did know this. It looks like Mac OS and comes preloaded with government spyware that watermarks every file you open with a unique identifier tied to your machine so they can keep track of you. Yeah, I did actually know this. And you can actually go and install this as far as I know. Don't recommend that though. A Boston man named William Croce filed for the US trademark on Linux in 1994. Okay. The community fought back, providing prior use, and was legally forced to assign the trademark to Torvalds in 1997. No, I did not know this. Very American thing to do, to try to trademark this and ultimately earn money from it. There were real adopted tux penguins living at Bristol Zoo in England. Fans adopted several live black-footed penguins there as a birthday gift for Linus. I did not know this. Linux was never supposed to be called Linux. Torvalds wanted freaks, a blend of free, freak, and X for Unix. He thought Linux was too egotistical. Well, here you go. This is what I actually was saying in the fact earlier, that he didn't call Linux Linux. It was assigned by the community. So the original name was actually to be freaks. Steve Jobs personally tried to recruit Torvalds around 2000, inviting him to Apple's campus. Jobs pitched for Unix. Torvalds refused, also telling Jobs he thought that the Mac kernel underlying macOS was architecturally terrible. That's such a Linus Torvalds things to say. So no, I did not. I did not know this. And there you go. Those are all the 17 facts about Linux. I did get a few of them right, but there was plenty of this that I didn't know. Let me know in the comments below how many facts did you get right. And if you want to learn Linux directly from me, there's a free 8-hour Linux course that you can get by going to school.com/Linux. And if you go and sign up for the course, it's a free 8-hour course that is taken directly from my paid offering. So my paid students get this course as well. And this is going to teach you how to use Linux from the command line in my typical teaching style. It's 8 hours long. You can get it completely for free. The link is down below in the description. Click it and go there right now, and I'll see you in the free Linux community. Have a good day and see you in the next one.